Hello everyone, welcome back again. This is the second half of the chapter of Min Zhao's Chinese media in America. And so we'll go over this very short part and then we'll go into the next lecture. Okay? So here we talked about the previous lecture, we talked about how there's different forms of Chinese media, most distinctly newspapers, websites, blogging that's tremendous all over China as well in the United States. Okay? So here we're going to finish up that quick chapter, and we're going to talk about, usually, this is well known, is since over 20% of the world is Chinese, right? Over 1 in 5 people are in Chinese. Mandarin is the most spoken language all over the world. It is the most populous nation all over the world. Obviously, we talked about last time how Chinese are in over 150 countries all over the world, so there's different conceptions of Chineseness, which brings up to the first point, point number 1. Usually you have more kind of cred or social kind of Chinese kind of social, cultural, I guess, capital if you're actually from China. So here in America, we have thousands of Chinese in America. And you are actually, many people consider that if you're actually from mainland China, you're the most Chinese, right? So if you're in the diaspora or in the Chinese-Vietnamese case, you're a double minority, so you left China in the 1920s, 1940s. You're farther away from the hub, the cultural hub, okay? So that's the first one, okay? That usually you're considered more Chinese if you're from China, right? So if you're Chinese-American, you're not like truly Chinese, right? You're like something else, okay? Number 2, Chinese in the diaspora have been looked upon as deserters. And that is actually something that is really something that is interesting as well. Now, China has never really enforced a really tight border policy for actually immigrating out. So basically anyone can leave China very easily, just like in America. If you want to leave America tomorrow, it's like a form and you're out of here, right? But to migrate in is more difficult, right? And to migrate, like very difficult to get in the United States, right? This long lottery. So here, Chinese who have left China, definitely for economic reasons or for war, etc., have been looked upon as deserters. So that is something to think about when you think of Chineseness, right? Are you really Chinese? Because if the 1.3 billion people think of you as a Chinese deserter or not really Chinese, not loyal. And I actually encountered this a lot when I was in China. People would ask me like, well, why did you leave? Or, you know, it was actually during the Olympics and I was interviewing and I was filming a documentary. And, you know, people would say to me, well, I'm proud of being Chinese. And I was talking to the local Chinese who actually were part of the Olympic apparatus. And so they were kind of ambassadors. And they were saying how they decided to stay in China to make China strong. So it was pretty interesting. They really divided themselves from the Chinese who've left, right? Now, third thing that you should know is Beijing has never welcomed returning Chinese. So, you know, you might have left China, right, at some point throughout history, 1920s, 1940s, but really China, the nation, has never really welcomed you back, right? Now, in 2000s, where China has opened up the, quote, the bamboo wall, right, really, it has really welcomed Chinese back from all over the global world, and particularly their money. Okay, so Chinese that are very successful businessmen all over Southeast Asia. I'm thinking Indonesia, I'm thinking Thailand, I'm thinking Malaysia, I'm thinking Singapore, where they are really the economic engines or one of the huge drivers, of many economic engines, but one of the huge drivers of the political, not the political system, but of definitely the economic and business sector of all those. And they're very highly integrated, okay? And so here, very recently, China has opened up and really the last 2 decades, one could argue even 3 decades, but last 2 decades in particular, has really welcomed the money and actually the Chinese diaspora going back into China, opening up businesses, right, which it has completely dotted all over southern China and Guangdong. So that is something that they have welcomed back, which is the money of these diaspora Chinese who have started businesses. So here you take a look at the Olympic bird's nest, right? So wonderful, so awe-inspiring. If you ever have a chance, right, instead of getting that whole body tattoo for $600, get a trip, go to China, just go there and you'll be fine. Okay, so I suggest instead of think of us, if you got in a car accident today, a $600, $800 car, you'd have enough money to pay for it. Instead, forget it. Go to Hong Kong, right? Go to Singapore. It's doable. It is just do it. Just go, especially if you're young right now, you don't have kids. Please go to China. Please go to Hong Kong. Go to Japan. It's awe-inspiring and wonderful. So you have the time, and if you say you don't have the money, well, I know you just get the money to make it happen, okay? All right, the water bubble. So obviously, incredible artistic and architectural feats. All right, so let's talk about the Chinese diaspora. Now, we already talked about previously the 1.3 billion people, right? So it's kind of like America plus 1 billion people more, okay? So huge diversity, huge, just what we think of as diversity in America is times 1,000 or 10,000. All right, but let's actually look at the even larger diaspora, the larger diversity, which is Chinese people outside of China, right? So there's millions of Chinese people outside of China, right? Huge. So it's numerically large. It's like huge. It's all over the world. I can travel to any country right now, and I have traveled to 32 countries. Every country I go to, I can meet someone Chinese. I can speak Chinese. Kind of a good example, I'm in the Louvre in Paris. I'm buying a crepe, and the person who's serving me a crepe is like speaking to me in Cantonese, right? Okay, so obviously someone diasporic for me from Hong Kong or maybe mainland China. I'm in Vietnam, and someone talks to me in Cantonese. I'm in Japan, someone talks to me. All over Europe, I see. So it is numerically large, spread all over the world. So there are Chinese people everywhere. Okay, I can't downplay that, okay? And these Chinese actually have, if you look at the third bullet, they enjoy like a long and deep identification with China. Now this kind of contrasts with the previous slide, right, where we talked about how Chinese people who've left China are looked upon as deserters, right? Even that may be the case for some, okay? But the people in the diaspora have a deep, and maybe you're taking this class right now in the Cal States, right? If you're Cal State Northridge or Cal State Fullerton or Cal State San Jose, if you're taking this class, there must be some reason why you're taking this class. Do you feel some identification with this kind of like this Chinese ethos, right? That's everywhere, all over the world. It's like a feeling, right? So yes, Chinese people all over the world have written books about it, a longing, a feeling. If you look on the Caribbean, a huge Chinese population. They have intermarried with Africans and Indians. They look phenotypically African. But actually, if you go to Jamaica, all the Chinese African, and they strongly identify as Chinese, own the grocery stores, right? So it is something that is just, it's unescapable, something you can't describe, okay? So something interesting about the Chinese globally is very different from maybe Cubans or Chileans, right? And I talked about my last slide, I mentioned it. Is some ethnic minorities will leave that country, and that's forever. It's gone. I'm an exile. I disagree with the country. I will never return unless maybe the dictator leaves, right? This is not the case for Chinese around the world. China's had very different engines. China's had different leaders. China's had different everything, okay? But most Chinese people will still return to China, right? Or they'll desire to return to China, right? Because China is a cultural home, right? And this is so different from other ethnic groups that are so staunchly against, for good reason, for returning, right? This is not the case. Good government policy, bad government policy. I think a lot of Chinese people realize that the government, right, the very small 50 people who control 1.3 billion people, really you can make an argument that some people have in these like think tanks, it's really just 50 guys who control 1.3 billion people. That changes, that goes and they have good decisions and bad decisions, and there might be, there's actually other people who control China, it's like a larger network, but that always changes, but China itself stays the same, right? So there's something similar to that, and I really want to talk about how it's maybe similar to Jewish diaspora, where you just feel a cultural home, and it doesn't matter what changes, it's always the case, right? You want to go home, and that is, it's a 10,000-year home, that's a 10,000-year history. That is very tangible in many ways, right? And so I'm going to talk a little bit, I'm going to end, these are my last slides. Take a look at all the Chinese around just close to us. We have 23 million in in Taiwan. We have 8 million Chinese in Hong Kong. We have almost 8 million in Thailand. We have 7 million in Malaysia. We have 6 million in America. We have 4 million almost in Singapore, almost 3 in Canada. In Vietnam case, I really want to say there's actually many more than 1 million, but they've intermarried and they sort of start identifying as Vietnamese. But actually, I really question that number. Philippines 1.3, Myanmar 1.2, Australia 600. And again, I think this number is low for Australia because there's been so much Hong Kong migration from Hong Kong to actual Australia that's not counted as Chinese. Actually, Hong Kong is a British colony, so they have a British passport. But again, they are Chinese. Japan, low. Russia, and United Kingdom. And again, the United Kingdom has grown tremendously post 1997. Okay. So great. I want to end with a slide. The feeling of Chineseness is so strong. According to the World Bank in 2007, China received more remittances, nearly 26 billion. That's more than a lot of countries' GDPs, than any other country except for India. So that is that's something. That's saying something that there's a conception you're a deserter, but if these people are contributing $26 billion to the country of China, that's something pretty deep. So great, and I want to end with Chinese New Year, right? Or they call it Lunar New Year. So if you're actually here in America, not in the Chinese diaspora, but let's say you're taking it. I'm filming this time during the Chinese New Year. This occasion, this last 2 weeks have been a lot of global. I know fireworks is one of the biggest global holidays. And in America, we have the Fung Brothers, and they're a kind of internet comedy troupe, and we saw some pretty videos, and they actually produced a video on Chinese New Year. So let's watch that.
Happy Lunar New Year. It's the year of the snake. 恭喜发财，蛇年快乐！我们要把旧的传统变成新的潮流。Model minority. Red envelopes, it's a Lunar New Year. Big family dinner, it's a Lunar New Year. Watch the lion dance, it's a Lunar New Year. 恭喜发财, it's a Lunar New Year. Red envelopes, it's a Lunar New Year. Big family dinner, it's a Lunar New Year. January 1st is your only New Year. Then come and celebrate Lunar New Year. Hold up, give it to me now. Thank you for the 50 folded in the home bow. Glad I'm still single, so I'm feeling like a child. Cause once I get married, then I have to give them out. Asians get like us. See the tongues, I'm trying to dress like us. Never met 3 dudes rap like us. The Gregorian calendar is cool, but trust, this is tradition. 5,000 years, don't wanna miss it. Good luck, I'm wishing, but no superstition. Duck and chicken, it's so delicious. Dishes are just finger licking. I'm too ambitious to stay up out the kitchen. What? Catch me at the Chinatown parade. 89 babies, year of the snake. Go and do something great. Chuk muk na moi Vietnamese, celebrate Sunny. Red envelopes, it's a Lunar New Year. Big family dinner, it's a Lunar New Year. Watch the lion dance, it's a Lunar New Year. Gong Bai Choi, it's a Lunar New Year. Red envelopes, it's a Lunar New Year. Big family dinner, it's a Lunar New Year. January 1st is your only New Year. Then come and celebrate Lunar New Year. I know you loving Chinese New Year time. Make you think about how it's Chinese foodie time. We come a long way from the Chinese coolie time. Now it's the line dance, ooh, shake your booty time. Oh word, clean your house, but you sweeping all. Red paper, red clothes, gotta keep them all. Food's the one thing that we never cheapen on. Just cause, just cause it's good luck, superstition. We can modernize a few of the old traditions. So I make sure I got a fresh cut, fresh fit, but I still hit 99 ranch for fresh fish. Visit relatives, red packets with $8. Make it rain like sea, we hoping for great luck. Americanized, hard to follow the mythology. Year of the snake, celebrate, no apology. Yeah. Red envelopes, it's a Lunar New Year. Big family dinner, it's a Lunar New Year. Watch the lion dance, it's a Lunar New Year. Gong Bai Choi, it's a Lunar New Year. Red envelopes, it's a Lunar New Year. Big family dinner, it's a Lunar New Year. January 1st is your only New Year. Then come and celebrate Lunar New Year. Yeah, bro, we in the alleys. From Beijing all the way to Southern Cali. Got the family all together, eating food we made with granny. Plates on the table, spinning from your uncle to your auntie. Yum. Firecrackers like the 4th of July, Ani. This ain't the summer, it's the winter time. Festivals are a cultural bridge. The whole globe celebrates this. Girl, I'm Chinese and proud, aka B's are for me not allowed. And after we eat, I will be on the couch watching TV with cousins in my uncle's house. This year is the year of the snake in the zodiac. That means intelligence and grace. You were born in this sign, then do not feel ashamed. 2013 New Year, kuala. Red envelopes, it's a Lunar New Year. Big family dinner, it's a Lunar New Year. Watch the lion dance, it's a Lunar New Year. Bong Banh Choi, it's a Lunar New Year. Red envelopes, it's a Lunar New Year. Big family dinner, it's a Lunar New Year. But January 1st is your only New Year. They come and celebrate Lunar New Year.
So let's take a break. Okay, so we'll take a break.